We're going to start out, though, with the latest from Chris Brown. Speaking out about the tense standoff with Los Angeles police that ended with his arrest, Singer and his legal team now insists the incident was a setup. And ABC's Matt Gutman joins us now with the exclusive. Good morning, Matt.
Hey, good morning, George. Brown and his team providing us with what they say is the smoking gun, a text message from his accuser, which they say shows the former beauty queen framed him, adding that if any charges are going to be pressed, it's against her for providing false testimony to police.
I cannot wait till the truth comes to light about this incident.
This morning, Chris Brown hinting that 9-hour showdown with the LAPD at his mansion was a setup.
Because, you know, my character's been defaced and who I am as a person and integrity.
Brown, seen here in this video clip, provided exclusively to ABC News, maintaining his innocence after being arrested for assault with a deadly weapon.
I'm glad that all my real supporters know me and they know the truth and they'll see the truth.
Authorities have been trying to piece together what really happened at the $4 million mansion after receiving this call at 3 a.m. last Tuesday morning.
2 females unknown crying and asking for help.
The former beauty queen had been in Brown's home along with about a dozen other visitors and told ABC News she was looking at a box of expensive diamond jewelry.
And that's when Chris came in and said, I'm so sick of all of you people. Took the gun out like this, put it in my face and said, get the F out.
As police surrounded Brown's house, the singer remained inside, blasting out angry messages on social media.
When you get the warrant or whatever you need to do, you're going to walk right up in here and you're going to see nothing, you idiots.
But ABC News has now learned that Chris Brown's defense team, led by famed attorney Mark Geragos, believes that the R&B singer was set up by the accuser herself. His defense team sharing with ABC News a text message purportedly sent by Bailey to a friend just minutes before the 911 call was made. The text message reading, "This freak Chris Brown is kicking me out of his house because I called his friend's jewelry fake. I'm going to set him up and call the cops and say that he tried to shoot me, and that will teach him a lesson. I'm going to set his expletive up." Were there any guns in the house at the time?
There was a search that was done. They went in and said that they had a description of a piece of jewelry. That jewelry was not found in the house. They went in and she said that there was a gun. As far as I know, the gun was not found in the house.
Also at the heart of the investigation, the surveillance cameras on Brown's property. So there's no Chris Brown waving a gun?
There's no Chris Brown waving a gun.
No Bailey looking at a box of jewelry?
Nothing.
Geragos, a constant figure beside Brown over the past decade, again by his client's side, while Brown posted a $250,000 bail. A nearly identical scene to that standoff is expected to air in the upcoming ABC drama series Notorious, which is based on Geragos' life as a high-profile attorney.
Listen carefully and you do exactly what I say.
In your show Notorious, the character that plays you arrives to defuse the situation. It was very much like what you experienced.
So yes, there is a little bit of life imitating art, and as I was walking through it, I was thinking the same thing.
Brown, who has not been charged, will be arraigned in 2 weeks. Now, Bailey Curran's people said she stands by her claims, and they questioned the authenticity of that text message. They told me if she'd written a text so explicitly incriminating herself, why would she have willingly given her phone to police investigators? They clearly have plenty of work left to do. Guys.
They sure do, Matt. Thanks very much. Let's talk to our chief legal analyst, Dan Abrams, about that. Matt hits on the big question right there. If this thing is real, this text is real, sure seems like a smoking gun.
Yeah, if this text is real and there's no other context out there, this case is over. I mean, this is it. Sure, maybe there's an explanation somehow, maybe there's another text, maybe there's surveillance footage, maybe there are other witnesses, but if those words were said by her at that time, I don't see how prosecutors move forward.
You say the case is over. They can't move forward, you say, against Chris Brown, but what about moving against her?
It's possible. Look, if they become convinced that she filed a false police report, and they have to be convinced of that, she could face charges. And that's exactly what Chris Brown's team is now saying, is that she's the one who should be facing charges here, not him. But I think it is fair to call this a smoking gun if it's authentic.
I think a lot of people, though, would look at some of those videos from that night and say that even if he was set up, Chris Brown could have handled it better.
Oh, he behaved terribly. I mean, look, this may not have been a standoff, right? Mark Geragos was very upset that it was being called a standoff, right? Because Mark Geragos' position is, I told him, wait there, I'll be there eventually, I'll get there. When they get a warrant, et cetera, we're going to let them in, no
And
problem.
Brown did say that.
Yes, and so you can argue that the media coverage of this was a little overstated in calling it a standoff. But for Chris Brown to go on Instagram and rail against the police, it wasn't the police who decided to go to his house. They got a call from this woman alleging that Chris Brown pointed a gun at her. That's not their fault.
They have to respond.
They have to respond. So, look, Chris Brown can have other beefs with the police, but at that time, that was not a smart move if your goal is not to get arrested and not to get prosecuted. But again, if this text is real, I don't think there's going to be any prosecution.
Okay, Dan Abrams, thanks very much.